Hello everyone and welcome back. So we're going to continue with all the modifications that are being done to our noise class, and in this video we're going to be setting up functionality for GetValues, not just GetValue.
Right. Basically, we want to be able to ask the noise library for a block of information as opposed to just getting it one color at a time. So if we go back to our noise.cs file, actually let me clean some of this stuff up. We don't need it anymore. So we're not going to have to go back to Perlin. We're not going to have to go back to simplex or value. So we'll just be messing with noise and game manager from this point forward. Of course, now that I've said that, watch something come up and I have to open up those files again.
They're not far away.
Yeah. So again, we're going to be passing out color information, but we're going to be sending out an array of color information. And we're going to creatively name this GetValues, plural, not to be confused with singular. So float x in, float y in, and that's it for the 2D. Don't want to get too carried away. All right, now we need to have a variable to hold our information. This will be called data. Data will be a new color array. And our color array will be of no size unless I tell it we need to take in a size. So int size. So that will be our size. So our array will be size squared. So size times squared, or size times size. Go ahead and hit semicolon. Now we're going to need two loops to loop through. So we'll have for y is going to be the integer of yn plus our size. And y will start off as the integer of y. Now we're doing it this way because we're taking in floats, but
The
an
integer
array
of y?
no, of yn.
That's better.
Yeah, I'd get there eventually. But because we're taking in floats, but an array is indexed with integers, we have to make our loop use integers. So we're adjusting our loop accordingly, and we're going to start from whatever y index we're given, and we're going to count up to our y index or our yn plus our size. And then we need the second or inner loop. Wow. I know how to work a mouse, really. I'll just do it with the keyboard, forget it. All right, so x is going to be the integer of x in, y, while x is less than the integer of x in plus size, increment x. All right, so that takes care of that part. Now, data. And we're going to determine the element by taking y, multiplying it by size, and adding x to it. So instead of using a multi-dimension array, we're going to use a single-dimension array. We're just going to massage the numbers as needed. Now the nice thing is all the hard work we've already set up to happen inside of GetValue. So we just need to tell it to go get the value at x and y. That will send off our current x and y into GetValue. GetValue will give us our color back. Our color will get put into the data array indexed by x and y in a format that we can pull back out or is friendly to pipe directly into a texture. We take that information, we return data, so we return it out of our array. That is our 2D information. We take that same method, duplicate it in its entirety, add an additional parameter to handle, or an additional argument to handle our z in, We still want to keep size. We're not passing out a three-dimensional array here, though. We're only going to ever pass out a two-dimensional array of noise, but the third element, that ZN, is going to control the animation of our 2D element. So we're not really passing out a three-dimensional array of noise, which could have its uses, and you could do that if you really wanted to, but we're not going to do it here. Now, the main difference between our 2D and 3D is we're going to pass ZN directly into GetValue. That will force us to call upon our three-dimensional version of GetValue as opposed to the 2D, and it still returns out a color. And that color gets added into our data array, and we send it back out. So the only difference between the 2D and the 3D is the fact that we've taken an extra value and we call the 3D version of GetValue. So simple enough between those two. If I build them out, make sure we get no errors, we go back to Game Manager and look at what we've got now. The nice thing is we can take this line of code. We want to keep var data, and we're going to put it right here. So we can now kill.
Go ahead and take out
that.
Oh, okay.
And I can take out our loop. So we're no longer needing a loop. And because I know GetValues is going to pass out an array, and I can define the size of our array. So we've got a constant called texture size somewhere. At least I thought so. Of course, I could have probably typed it 3 times by now. So now we can take our texture size and throw it in. But we can pick anything for X and Y now. This is just get a starting point. So we're saying start at 0 and 0 and give me an array, a two-dimensional array of texture size by texture size. That will be all calculated and passed back as an array, which goes into data. That data will automatically get, or not automatically, we tell it to set the pixels of our noise texture with that information. So that big, long list of everything we've done that we were forcing our programmers to deal with can now be done in 3 lines of code. If I build it, everything works right. Now hopefully, if we run this and I hit play, we get some noise back. Hey, and it doesn't move, which we expect because I'm using the 2D version of GetValues. But I should still be able to switch between my noise. So there's our purlin, there's our value, and there's our simplex. So if I pause that, or stop it, not pause it, and I go ahead and add iterations, or iterations, not iterations, iteration.
At this point, do you want to add iteration? Because you're not in a... Well, yeah, it's still incrementing. Hang on, you're in update noise. Yeah. It's getting later and later. And
yeah, we still have to tell it by the amount.
Very nice, very nice.
So now we get our animated version of texture. And just like before, we should be able to switch to purlin. And value. I really have no sense of speed if it's fast, slow.
It's a little slow. I mean, now it's getting a little faster. Yeah, it's good. Now it's getting even faster.
Then we could go crazy.
Whoa!
Now it should just be flickering.
Yeah, more or less.
So...
Awesome.
So that goes ahead and gets that part working.
So is that pretty much everything that you were looking to get set up here?
In this one, yes.
All right.
And the next video, we get to compare our noise library that we put together against one of the more popular ones out there that is freely available.
Okay, cool. Well, with that, that is going to conclude this video. Thanks a lot.